Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. Now then, if you like Thin Lizzy or the Allman Brothers or Iron Maiden or Queen or Metallica or Judas Priest or Wishbone Ash or Boston or any other band that does that whole twin lead guitar harmony thing, and you've always wondered how to do it for yourself, well, stick around because I'm going to show you. Right, so let's assume that you want to do a twin lead guitar harmony. How do you go about doing it? Well, it's a lead guitar part, and like any other lead guitar part, it's going to be largely dependent upon the chords that you're playing over. Coming up next, you're going to see the backing track that we're going to base this whole thing on, and you'll notice that as well as the chords that I've indicated, I've also shown what notes are in each of those chords, which is going to become crucially important as we progress. Anyway, here's the backing track. And there you have it, sort of a Pink Floyd meets Deep Purple kind of feel maybe. Somewhere between When a Blind Man Cries and Shine On You Crazy Diamond perhaps, who knows. In this next clip we're going to examine how knowing what notes are in the chords gives us some idea of how we're going to form the lead guitar part over the top. Right, so over to the left there you'll see all of the chords that are in the piece, D minor, B flat, G minor, C and F, along with the notes that are contained within those chords. If we then arrange those notes into ascending order, starting from a D, we get D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C and back to D again, which collectively is known as the D Aeolian mode, or sometimes referred to as the D natural minor scale. In case you're wondering why some of those notes are shown in red, that's because those notes, the D, the F, the G, the A, the C and back to the D again, are the D minor pentatonic, our old friend, the old blues box thing that we all use from time to time. So as long as you're reasonably proficient with that scale, and most guitarists tend to be, then all you got to do is figure out where to add in the E and B flat notes if you want to play the full-on Aeolian mode stroke natural minor scale, and that's what this next diagram is going to show you. Right then, so concentrating on the notes that are shown in red, that hopefully should look like quite a familiar scale pattern, the good old faithful minor pentatonic, which if you play at the 10th fret gives us the D minor pentatonic. All you got to do then is add in the E and B flat notes, which are quite easy really. If you know where an A note is, then B flat is always one fret above that. If you know where an F note is, then E is always one fret below that, and you can see on this diagram where I've added in those other notes. Okay, now it's time to start making a melody with them. Now then, if you think about it, any melody consists of only three things. You've got long notes, short notes and gaps between the notes. That's it. And it's those long notes that we're going to address ourselves to now. These are going to be the main focal points of the melody, the landmarks that you kind of navigate from one to the other, the checkpoints along the way basically. And all you've got to do to get these right is make sure that each one of those long prominent focal point notes is taken directly from the chord that you're playing over at any given time. In this next clip you'll see I've taken a note from each chord and just played it over the top of that chord, all within the context of that pentatonic based scale pattern that we saw a moment ago. Anyway, here are the main focal point long notes that are going to form the basis of our melody. Now I know that doesn't sound too much like a melody at the moment, but trust me, it will come. That's just a rough outline, the detail will come later, so bear with me on that. The next thing we're going to need to do is start thinking about harmonizing those notes, and that is what this next clip shows you how to do. Right then, this diagram shows us the notes in the scale that we're using for the melody arranged in the form of a wheel, and all you got to do to create harmonies is rotate that wheel a little bit, basically. In effect, what you do is you pair up each note in the melody with the next but one note higher than it in the scale. So for instance, a D note will be paired up with an F note because F is the next but one note higher than D in the scale, and so on and so on. Here are all of those pairs of notes shown together. This method of harmonizing is called harmonizing in thirds because each pair of notes are 3 scale steps apart. It's not the only way of creating harmonies, but it is one of the most popular. And in this next clip we're going to see the chord sequence once again, and alongside each chord you're going to see the main melody note that I chose, and the ones that we heard earlier basically. And each one of these is paired up with its harmony note based upon the theory that we've just covered. Once again, here is the chord sequence which is underpinning everything, and alongside each chord, shown in blue, you can see the main melody note for that chord. We chose those earlier and you heard what they sounded like. Shown in red are the harmonies for those notes, and if you look closely there is something of a problem, because this note and this note, along with this harmony note and this one, all fall outside the scope of the chords that they're landing on. Now it's important to realise that these aren't wrong notes, they're still part of the overall scale, so they're still kind of going to fit, but they're not the best fit for that particular point in the tune. What we need to do is correct these notes so that they are once again part of the chord, just like the melody notes that they're harmonizing with. And the easiest way to do that is just to move them all up one scale step. So a C becomes a D, a B flat becomes a C, and so on. And that gives us something that looks like this. And coming up next is what it sounds like. That really is the bulk of the work done. All that remains now is to fill in the gaps a little bit between those long notes. This next clip that's coming up, you're going to see the tab for the melody that I came up with, and all I've done is, as I say, fill in the gaps a little bit. I've still indicated which are the main melody notes, those long notes, and you can see which are the kind of connective tissue that kind of link them together. First up, you're going to hear the melody, and then we'll look at how you create the harmony for those extra little bits of detail that we've put in. Creating the harmony for the melody as a whole couldn't be simpler, really. All we do is go back to our original scale pattern, here it is, and alongside that you can see the harmony wheel that we had earlier, showing how each note is paired up with the next but one note above it in the scale. All you do is pair up the notes that lie between the main focal point long notes that we've discussed already using this method. You don't have to worry about correcting any of these notes to make them fit in with the chord. That's only an issue for the longer notes that we've dealt with already. So using this principle, I came up with a harmony which looks and sounds like this. And now let's hear what the melody and that harmony part that you've just heard there sound like when they're both played together. You'll see the tab scrolling past you on the screen as we listen to this, but you can also download a PDF of the tab from the description box below this video. I'll also put the backing track in there as well, so you can kind of have a go for yourself. Right, here's the finished twin guitar harmony part. So there you have it. That's how to create great sounding harmony guitar parts in just under a quarter of an hour. Can't be bad. What's also important to realise is that this method doesn't just stop at the guitar. It's exactly the same principle if you're going to figure out vocal harmony parts, for example. It's exactly the same principle. You just scale it up a bit if you were to go away and score an entire piece out for an orchestra. It's all the same rules at work. And the great thing is that if you have all this knowledge under your belt and you become conversant with it, it's the kind of thing that makes you a valuable member of any band. It kind of makes you a little bit indispensable. You know, it takes away all of that experimentation and faffing around in the practice room that you are usually paying for by the hour. Let's not forget, so you want to get things done as quickly as possible, and you can just cut straight to the chase and kind of figure out these harmony parts, be it on the guitar or vocal harmonies or whatever, and save yourself a lot of time and a lot of head scratching, and as I say, it makes you quite a valuable asset to any band. Right then, that's it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it, hope you found it useful, hope you found it maybe even a little bit inspiring. If you've enjoyed this video, then please hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll get to see more of them. If you live on Teesside and you would like some tailored one-to-one guitar tuition in any style, beginner to advanced, any level, whatever, then give me a shout via the details at the end of this video. And if you like twin lead guitar stuff, there's plenty of it on my new album, which is called The Whiskey Made Me Do It, and it's available on Amazon, iTunes, Google Play. I'll put some purchase links in the description box below, along with the tab for that harmony thing and the backing track to play along with. Right, I hope you've enjoyed it, folks. See you all next time. Bye for now.